Welcome. This is Glenda Carlin, and it is September 6, 2022, a Tuesday evening. And this is my weekly A Course in Miracles meeting, but I also incorporate Dzogchen Buddhism and even other books that seem appropriate at the time that practice parallel truths to Jesus's course. And I want to invite in Holy Spirit, Jesus, Buddha, ascended masters, enlightened beings, everyone to be here, help us, guide us, what to do or say, have insights, and have some fun here as well. For those that can't come here live on Tuesday evening, I record this talk and I post it on my YouTube channel, which is, I put it down, Glenda Carlin, A Course in Miracles YouTube. Real original, huh? Now, on Facebook, my maiden name is Carlin, but married name, my husband has passed, is Busick. So it's Glenda Carlin Busick, B-U-S-I-C-K, in case anybody wants to private message me or contact me via Facebook. But anyway, welcome, welcome. And of course, A Course in Miracles talks about we're holy sons of God, but ultimately, and holy Buddhas, whatever faith person thinking of, but either way, the total non-dual truth is there is no separation at all. And what that means is there's only God. So in essence, we embody not just the Holy Son of God, Christ, and the Holy Buddha, but we embody God as we wake up from the dream or the hallucination of separation from God and our brothers and ourselves. So I always address each other to not have them in the last few weeks, Holy Son of God, Barbara, but really it's God. Barbara is God. Leon is God. Angela is God. Lynn is God. Nance is God. Elaine is God. Debbie is God. Gonzalo is God. Now, that's not egotistical to say that, because I'm not kidding. There only is God. That's in non-dual. That's just the way it is. We are a thought in God's mind, but we have the same character, same everything. We're no different at all, except He is our Father, our Creator, and the origin of all things. Now, the topic tonight is, I usually talk and express with you all about something that I'm experiencing and what I've been experiencing for the last year is opening my heart, opening my mind to just being. That word B-E-I-N-G, just being, meaning just being present in the now and being aware there's only holiness. There really is only God. I think it's lesson 193, which Jesus says, I want the name of God to be my only thought. I'm going to condense this, my only word, my only wish, the only sound I want to hear, the only name of everything I want to see. That's lesson 193. And based on practicing that, and then we practice here Jesus's advanced forgiveness. And for those that might be listening to this later and might not be aware what that is, because for years I didn't know what it was. It's not the forgiveness of the world, which is the forgiveness to destroy, where we identify the errors of our brother and then forgive them. Think we're holier than them and we can forgive them. That is not the forgiveness Jesus is talking about. He's talking about that we look past the body to the invisible light of spirit that's here now. We look beyond the body, past the body, to the spirit. And I forget which lesson he says, it's your choice whether you see the body and flesh or you see spirit. Now, what's difficult about all this is the body's so visible, but spirit is invisible. The light of spirit, the love of spirit is invisible. That's why it's called faking it while you make it. We say sentences like, we can do it now for pick two people on the screen and practice advanced forgiveness on them. And that's when we say either all of it 3 simple words, or we say, you are spirit, whole, pure, and innocent, all is forgiven and released. So pick 2 people on the screen and practice advanced forgiveness on them right now, please. Now, see, it's that simple, but what happens is we forget to do this. We get involved in our daily activities in life. And so that's why, like I've explained here over and over again, I had sticky notes for 5 years from 2014 to March of 2019. I practiced Jesus's advanced forgiveness on everything that seemed to show up in front of my face. But to do it, I had sticky notes on my purse, on my bathroom mirror, in my kitchen. And finally, it became a habit that we habitually do this. And you think nothing's happening. You think nothing's happening, but the world is changing. What happens when you practice advanced forgiveness consciously, saying these sentences and words, Holy Spirit can heal the unconscious mind that you can't get to, that Jesus calls unconscious guilt. You cannot get to it. And that is a guilt that we think we separated from God, and we made him the horrible mistake, and God is vengeful, vindictive, and out to get us. And that's what ego unconsciously says these sentences over and over to us. And that's why people feel bad, and they don't even realize why they're feeling bad, because they can't hear the unconscious chatter. All they hear is this conscious egoic chatter that's constantly sorting, judging, labeling our brothers and everything there. So we practice advanced forgiveness here. We practice turning our day over to Holy Spirit, asking him guide us what to do or say. And I highly recommend meditation each day, at least 30 minutes to an hour by yourself or with a group. And then also practicing meditation other times during the day. And then doing the lessons in A Course in Miracles and other lessons, or whatever each of you find resonates with you. And what resonates with me is Dzogchen Buddhism. But before we get into the lesson we're going to be talking about tonight is lesson 108, which is, the title is To Give is to Receive is One in Truth. And I never really had gotten that before, but anyway, we're going to talk about that tonight. But before we talk, we're going to meditate for a few minutes here. And the more I read about meditation and reflect on what I do, its purpose is to relax the form and have you turn inward to the light that's within your mind, that's invisible, that you don't know is there, but we turn within and we're faking it while we make it. We're going to look at a light, a luminous light that's invisible. But relaxation is huge. So before we start, just take a deep breath in. And then on the out breath, exhale, saying ah, A-H, ah, ah. You're exhaling, that's releasing. It's a very, very powerful intake of air and exhale. Ah is the seed syllable in Dzogchen Buddhism, or in Buddhism, that means everything, God, everything. I'm not kidding. Ah. So as you say it in the exhale breath, you're releasing, you're letting go of thoughts, so many things you don't even know about. You're just doing this, you're relaxing. So you take another in breath in, a deep breath in from the belly, and exhale, saying ah, ah. Then take another deep breath in, and on the exhale, say ah. Now, this 3 breath, inhale, exhale, can be used anytime, day or night. It's huge. It's also called a sacred pause. When you remember what's going on, or you can do it when you just feel fine, but you want to just relax deep within your mind and your heart, into the Christ presence, the God presence. You can use this 3 breath technique in and out, saying, oh, I'm not kidding, it's huge. It's a relaxation breath. And it's also, when you're exhaling, you're actually calling to God. You really are in the ah. And another thing I do, you can put your arms straight out to your side. That's called lion's roar, and shake your arms and your shoulders and your head and waller your mouth and go ah, because you're really relaxing the form. The form is rigid and contracted. And if you recognize during the day when you start to feel irritated or frustrated, the body automatically tenses up. Your breath gets shorter and you just get anxious. It just builds on itself from thought to feeling. And that's why you want these tools in your toolbox to relax. And then you've got your tool, probably your favorite, one of your favorite, whatever it is, lesson in A Course in Miracles that you're practicing then, that you can say to yourself, talk to yourself. I'll actually say to myself, Glenda, you're not thinking that way. We're going to think with God. We're going to think with Holy Spirit. You are a Christ Buddha presence. You embody God. I mean, it's called self-talk, but in a divine way. We've had ego talking roughshod on us, and we've been agreeing with it for years. We now turning the tables on ego and choosing to not practice egoic knee-jerk reactions. We can relax. So you're relaxing. Next, I want you to, you just settle in your chair and focus your eyes can be open or closed, but focus your attention above your head. Because above your head is like a huge sun, or it's a sun like a million times brighter than the sun that's outside that we look at. That exemplifies God or source. It's a portal. It's an opening. That God source. It's a transpersonal chakra that I've since learned about is above your head. There's several of them, but we just go with this one. The sun is symbolic of God's source. And per Jesus in the Course, there's a ray that comes off source that connects each of you to eternity. That per Jesus, it's true. So that's why you picture this golden ray of light that's coming down the middle of your head, straight through the middle of your body, and see it go into the ground. It's a golden, luminous color. And if you can't visualize that color, then I have you picture pouring yellow cake batter down the middle of your head, and see that yellow cake batter just pour all the way through you and disperse and radiate out every cell of your body. That's a way to see this invisible light that's here now. It's like a hologram. This light is here now, but you just don't see it. And this light is so loving, so beautiful, you want to rejoin with it. But before you do, I want you to see an altar in your mind and put on that altar the things you think you need to be happy. Then see that altar and your body disappear into the light. Now focus your attention above your head again and see that column of light that's coming down the middle of your head, and picture resting in it, dissolving into that light. Called a bunch of verbs you can use: rejoining, merging, sitting in it, being in it, resting. That's why I have you do the yellow cake batter, because that gives you a little texture. That Holy Spirit gave me that example when I was asking him, I just can't rest in the light. I can't be in it. And he gave me the example of the cake batter because that gave me a little thickness that I could put my attention on to rest in and dissolve into, and even put my bottom and rest. It radiates through you and surrounds you. You rest in it. And in the Course, Jesus talks about, I rest in God. I forget if that's 109. That is huge, folks. Let me tell you, it's huge. This Dzogchen Buddhist group, they say, rest your weary heart and mind. Rest. They do the same thing because throughout the Course, Jesus says to rest in this this because that awareness of resting in the light is where you are able to realize that your beingness is that clear light, that or golden light. That's where you can turn and rest at any time. It's a sanctuary. You rest in God. Well, we also rest in this Sangha group, this community here. You rest in the truth. They call it the Dharma in Dzogchen and Buddhism, but we rest in the truth as well. And in one of these lessons talks about when truth is true. Truth will encompasses or disperses all illusion. When you focus on the truth, like you focus on this invisible light, for a second or two, or maybe half a minute, you can rest in that light. But what happens when you're learning to meditate, you become aware very often that the mind just wanders. And that's what it does. That's its job. Egoic mind, it wanders and it chatters. And for years, I tried to stop the chatter, but that will never happen. What's really helped me open my mind and my heart is it's called sky gazing that the Dzogchen group does with Lama Surya Das, where we picture that light that you're seeing of that great ray. They call it sky gazing, where they imagine and visualize that light is like the sky. It's that huge, and see that light is, it encompasses everything. It is everything. But it's called sky gazing, where you just, when you're looking at that light, that sky, you see these thoughts come and go. Or how you know you've had a thought is when you've wandered off and you're thinking about what you're going to cook for dinner or what you're going to do tomorrow. And then it's called the leash of mindfulness. It's like you've got a leash where you put around those wandering thoughts and you bring that egoic mind back to the center, back to the great ray, the column of light, and rest there again. And maybe you only rest there a minute or two, or a second or two, or half a minute. And then you know that mind, it'll wander. Then you just bring it back and you come back to the light. You keep doing that. And that's what I've done for a year ago, June. And as a result, it brings stillness. And Jesus says in the Course, in silence is where God dwells. So that silence, you're learning to cultivate it. And you get more and more silence or stillness or quietness in your mind as you learn to meditate. Because with meditation, that's the purpose. And people have commented, oh, well, Jesus doesn't talk about meditation in the Course, so I beg to differ. You start watching and reading these lessons, and he'll say, well, just close your eyes and be still for 30 minutes. And think about this thought. And last week we recognized, I think it's lesson 109. He says, just close your eyes and rest for it and be still for an hour. Well, what else is that but meditation? Other times he says, be still, close your eyes and rest 5 minutes. But close your eyes and let the thoughts come and see what thoughts show up. That is meditation. So it's all through the Course. And I have to tell you, without meditation, I would not be here where I am, being able to rest in God's presence throughout the day and night, naturally. Then it becomes where you're headed is called non-meditation, where you can walk around and see this clear light that is God's spirit. But in what you become is you embody the Christ and the Buddha. Embody means in the illusion, the form is an image in the mind. When the mind becomes illumined, the body's in the mind, the body becomes illumined, and your physical body embodies Christ, Buddha presence, God presence. I am not kidding. You embody it. You radiate the light and love of God throughout every cell of your form. But that only comes with diligence and practice of advanced forgiveness, turning your day over to the Holy Spirit, practicing these truths and meditating, and then considering alternative truths. You see now the mind wanders, you just bring it back to that center. I call it the center, or Jesus calls it alignment, a vertical axis, he calls it. It's a vertical column of light, cord of light, the Hindus call it, that's actually here now, but you're just not aware of it. But you will awaken to it, and it's part of the enlightenment process. So I'll be quiet here for a minute or so. While I was quiet, in that embodiment, what happens, picture this. Nothing needs to be changed other than you unlearn these egoic habits where you're not reacting, having knee-jerk reactions. But what happens when you embody the Christ, the Buddha, the God presence? Think about it. That just means you're not in meditation anymore. You're just walking around as Christ, Buddha, as God, but your heart's open, your mind's open, and you're giving unconditional love to all your brothers and everything. That's God. Somewhere in the Course, Jesus says, just think, what would God be thinking? Just how, what would he do? Well, of course, he's not in dualism, but God, that's why Holy Spirit's with us, and Jesus and Buddha and enlightened beings. They're teaching us these truths so that you can come back to your home, the home that you are the presence of God. You embody it. So you're walking around, you're using your regular mouth, but your eyes have Christ's vision. Your nose is open to heightened awareness of smell. Your ears hear finer tuned. Everything's heightened and awakened. And you're just communicating. You're walking around at the grocery store line being God. You are God, but you are in the body of God. You've embodied God. Yeah, I'm not kidding. That's where you end up. That's the beingness, where you just being your own self, this self that's God's self. You've transformed from the egoic self. So it's huge what you're doing here with this practice of A Course in Miracles and meditating and coming here to do this. So when you want, you can bring your attention back to this place, but you can always turn within to this light that actually isn't really within, it's everywhere. But we turn within until it radiates out everywhere, and we see there's no in or without. We're in union with everything. But all of this awakening and enlightenment are steps. And if I didn't even think this way, I've talked about this before. I was so cut and dried about only the Course. I would only study the Course. I didn't want to hear about anybody talking about anything else. Well, I now understand there's many paths to God. And I no longer say to somebody, hold it, I don't believe in Buddhism. I don't believe in anything but this. No. You will use, Holy Spirit will take you where you're at and guide you and use anything that will resonate with you to open you up to awaken and become enlightened. So just stay open. Don't be in premature, it's called premature immaculation, where you think once you've had some holy experience, you think you're there. This is a constant unfolding enlightenment experience. And because Jesus takes you with baby steps or bigger steps, but it's a process. It's a journey of no distance. And some people can wake up just like that. I was a hard nut to crack, and I'm still waking up. But the thing is, I just want you to stay open and alert that Holy Spirit could use anything to help you. We want to use it all. Oh, so that's just an easy transition to, I look at these Facebook posts that Lama Surya Das makes on Facebook. And I'm always, I tell you, I still practice like my hair is on fire, because I want to get these nuances. I want to rest in the divine God. I want to, And I want to be a channel to help my brothers wake up. Oh, I forget. Now that we want to dedicate any merit we receive from that meditation, any peace of mind, stillness, insights to all humanity to help them wake up from the dream. That's the other thing I've learned that's so important. We're all in this together. And so that's why we're practicing advanced forgiveness on people in the grocery line, at the gas station, silently. We're helping. When we do forgiveness work, it helps the whole world, the universes, all the universes of time and space, because there's only one mind. So when your mind becomes still, just picture that helps the whole mind become still. And it's just marvelous, this whole one mind concept. But anyway, so this post, because see, I recognized that I couldn't stabilize being present in God's awareness of God's beingness, But anyway, so I read this post from that he reposts things from these enlightened Buddhist people. This particular person is Dilgo Khyentse Rinpoche. And here's what this post said. See, this was good because see, I meditate when performing the meditation practice, one should develop the feeling of opening oneself completely to the whole universe with absolute simplicity and nakedness of mind, ridding oneself of all protecting barriers. See, that's talking about separation, right? Nakedness of mind is this clear light of God mind. Don't mentally split into two when meditating, one part of the mind watching the other like a cat watching a mouse. One should realize that one does not meditate to go deeply within oneself and withdraw from the world. Complete openness of mind is the essential point. Now, see, that was very helpful to me because, of course, when you meditate, you do deepen your awareness of the inner light and you rest there. But that's not the whole purpose. The purpose is to open the mind. And in this Dzogchen meditations, they do what's called sky gazing, where you have your eyes open, or you can look at the luminous vast expanse in your mind if your eyes are closed. But if your eyes are open, you're looking like at the sky. Well, when you're looking at the sky, what happens, it looks spacious, right? It's spacious. And what that meditation practice want you to do is to expand your mind away from just being focused on a single object. Now, granted, we looked at the light, we focused on the light, but that light, once you get into meditation, it extends, it expands. But anyway, so complete openness of mind is the essential point. But the other thing that struck me in the post was, I want to develop the feeling of opening oneself completely to the whole universe. Now, see, I've been saying like a little mantra of, the whole universe is my body. All beings are my heart, mind, and soul. Because I knew that somehow, maybe I was inspired by Holy Spirit. I don't know. I just knew that I needed to accept the whole universe of forms because that's all our brothers. That's what advanced forgiveness is, that we're seeing that they're not bodies or flesh, they're spirit. But ultimately, to wake up, you're accepting the whole universe into your heart and mind. And that's what this was talking about, opening oneself completely. So what I did, I copied this post and I printed it on a bunch of piece of paper. And I had one at my desk, at the stairs, at my chair. I carried one when I walked morning and evening. And see, you can do the same thing with truths in the Course or any books you're reading, and you find a paragraph that just touches your heart. What we're going after, like Jesus says, is an experience where you feel an opening of your heart, or you just feel a oneness, or you feel like you've touched the heart of something. You get what I'm saying. You can copy that into a Word document, print it out with bigger font, and I carry that with me, and I will say the sentences, because then it's like I memorize them, but then I sit with the sentences to get their meaning. Now, that's the other thing I found has happened to me along the way, is I've relaxed and asked Holy Spirit to help me get the meaning of these words to the core of me. And that's when your heart gets touched with compassion for your brothers, that they're confused and ignorant about the egoic mind versus spirit mind, God mind, whatever you want, or if you just want to call it the infinite origin of all things, the living Tao, the living force. There is an origin of all things, but it's just, they're just placeholders, all these words that we're trying to use. And I don't want to ever be resistant to hearing somebody else say some placeholder that works for them. That's their deal. That's their helping them. Holy Spirit's helping them. So as I walked and did all these, I asked Holy Spirit, help me. And because that's the other thing we do. We reach out and we ask Holy Spirit, help us, help me. Because if we don't ask for help, he won't intrude. Although I think sometime when you might have a pause, he might inject a thought, because I've had that happen. Maybe I'm not outright said to Holy Spirit, help me, but I've been contemplating something. I wonder what that means. And that's an invite of Holy Spirit. Well, help her figure out what that means. But so I was trying to open myself up to the whole universe. So images came to me, images. You know how a shirt, you could rip open a shirt. Well, I pictured I could just rip open my mind, because then it's open. There's no barrier. I opened him up. That's called Tredshid. I'm embarrassed. I may not pronounce that correctly. In Dzogchen, that means they cut through the form to see the light of spirit that's there. Well, to rip open, you're cutting through the mind, letting that mind just be open, expansive for a second, just open. Or you cut and you rip open your heart and let your heart just open, and just kind of visualize that you just visualizing the solar system is just in your heart. You visualize the universe, solar system in your mind. These are just visualizations that will help. You want to ask Holy Spirit for your own, because you're wanting to open up your heart. You're wanting to open up your mind to everything, to all your brothers, everything. Well, after I did that for a bit, I go, well, that didn't stabilize this. So then last week we talked about lesson, the one I rest in God, and that's 109. And in 109, or is it one? Or is it 108? Which one? Nope, it's 109. It's the temple doors. This is where he says, I'm going to read this whole paragraph. I copied in my email this whole lesson, 108 and parts of 109. But here is in, you rest within the peace of God today and call upon your brothers from your rest to draw them to their rest along with you. You will be faithful to your trust today, forgetting no one, bringing everyone into the boundless circle of your peace, the holy sanctuary where you rest. Open the temple doors and let them come from far across the world, as near as well, your distant brothers and your closest friends. Bid them all enter here and rest with you. Each brother comes to take his rest and offer it to you. And he even says here, we give rest to the unborn, those who have passed by, to every thought of God. Now listen to that, to the unborn, everybody that's passed by, this is, he's saying, give them rest. Well, that was the temple door. So thought about, well, I'm going to visualize from the top of my head down to my thighs, temple doors, big, tall doors. I just open them up. And my mind is up there at the top and my heart's in the middle. That's how I'll open everything up. And so I tried that. Now that works. Because see, that's his visualization, but it didn't stabilize. What really stabilized this is lesson 108. To give and to receive are one in truth. And in that lesson, Jesus has us close our eyes. And for 5 minutes, think about what you would hold out to everyone to have it yours. He's telling us in that lesson, and I had not really gotten it to the level of what he's talking about here, where he says, I want to read this exactly, where he talks about here it is. We're going to say some sentences to a person, any person you want to pick. Say the sentence to each one slowly and pause a while, expecting to receive the gift. And here's the sentence, and it will come to you in the amount in which you gave it. You will find you have exact return, for that is what you ask. Now, I had never got that before. So if I wrote in my pardon, my language here, but it came to me. If I give a half-assed request, like I'm going to say to my brother, I offer you quietness, but I do it just off the cuff. I don't give a crap. Maybe he gets it, maybe he doesn't. I offer him peace of mind, but I don't care. I want peace of mind. I don't care if he has it or not. Jesus is telling us, it will come to you in the amount in which you gave it. You will find you have exact return. Well, see, I didn't realize it. When I read that lesson, I was practicing when I was out walking, and I damn meant it. I offered love to everyone. I added love in this lesson. He says, to everyone I offer quietness, or you can say to everyone I offer peace of mind, to everyone I offer gentleness. Because see, those three things are what we're trying to get from meditation and from unlearning these egoic thoughts by doing our lessons. But I added love. To everyone I offer love. And I meant it, because you know what we're doing here. We're developing a compassion, an empathy, and recognizing in our brother is ourself. Gonzalo coming back in. I'll pause here a minute. And so I didn't really realize what I was doing, honest. I was just wholeheartedly wanting to give these people love. I offer love to everyone. So when I walk by a house, I just say it. I offer love to everyone, a person, silently. Then when I got home, I was sitting in my chair and I recognized that my heart and mind had opened. It had dang opened and was staying open. And what did it was this genuine desire I had to give love to people I didn't even know, to everyone. So what I'm wanting to express here is, this could save you years of work. If you take this truth and you just practice it, faking it while you make it. But this is huge to offer, because the crux of the whole course is to remove blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance. Love is what you are. We are. We're this light, and this light is soaked with love, because love unifies everything in the union, the oneness, the circle of the atonement. It's the union. So just sit, and I asked you in the email, just honestly ask yourself, Do you really believe this? Do you really want to offer your brother gentleness or peace of mind? Do you want him to have peace of mind? And see, that made me understand these chants and prayers that I've been saying. It'll be 2 years in October that I've been practicing Dzogchen Buddhism, where they meditate and they chant and they pray. I didn't know what those words meant. I sort of know how to say some of the words now, but I would let the words wash through me and just not enjoy, but read the English interpretation as to what that chant meant. And those chants and prayers are turning, like what Jesus's truths are doing. They're training the mind to have empathy, love, and compassion for your brothers. They call it practicing the 6 paramitas. And I wrote that in here because I just wanted to kind of summarize what Jesus is doing in the Course is these paramitas. They're just another word for what he's trying to do. And those are generosity. Now, generosity could be your time, effort, money, or kindness, just helping somebody open a door. But then when you're opening a door for them, you're remember to think of them as spirit, Buddha or Christ. But I'll read them first. Generosity, ethical self-discipline, patience, perseverance, mental stability, disseminating aware, DECIMATING, disseminating awareness means wisdom. And then here was a quote that I copied about these. These 6 are far-reaching attitudes. These 6 far-reaching attitudes are states of mind that lead the way to liberation and enlightenment. And see, that's what Jesus is wanting you to do. Your brother's your brother is you. As I think of my brother, I think of myself. And his other statement, I am responsible for my feelings. I'm responsible for what I see. Everything that seems to happen to me, I ask for and receive as asked. And then he says, when you meet anyone, remember it's a holy encounter. As you see him, you will see yourself. As you treat him, you will treat yourself. As you think of him, you will think of yourself. Never forget this, for in him you will find yourself or lose yourself. And again, even in this lesson, he says, as you think of him, you will think of yourself. So if you're offering love to your brother, picture what that means. You're offering love to yourself. And the degree that you're receiving that love is the degree that you gave the love. That's why that lesson is to give is to receive are one in truth. And I never really got that because in that lesson he says, effect and cause will be far better understood from this time on, and we will make much faster progress now. Effect and cause. See, now he's not saying cause and effect. He changed it around, effect and cause. So now what is the cause? I mean, the effect. The effect is how you feel. Now, the cause could be my action. See, my action, if I offer love to everyone, am I wholeheartedly doing it or half-assed doing it, or I'm just going to say these sentences because Lama Surya Das will say, just don't parrot these words, feel them, sit with them. Huge. It's huge. If during the day you could just sit with some words and feel them, contemplate them. But anyway, effect and cause will be, so this is not something that is separate. Somewhere else he says they go together. They go right together in union. See, that's page 4. Here it is. Here are both giving and receiving seen as different aspects of one thought, whose truth does not depend on which is seen as first, nor which appears to be in second place, because cause and giving and receiving can be either way. I receive the love of God, then I give it out, or I give the love of God and I receive the love of God. You can look at it both ways, but he says here it is understood that both occur together, that the thought remain complete. Now, see, I never really got that. These two things are together. So everything I'm thinking about somebody, it's coming back to me. It's a boomerang. It's the cause and the effect. So, oh man, guys, this was like, I didn't know what I was doing, but I was generally offering love. So that's when, and how I knew my heart opened and my mind was staying open is what I was describing during meditation. We'll finally embody the Christ, the Buddha, the God, in that we're just walking around being loving, considerate, all the virtues that they're talking about here in the pyramid, but we're doing it naturally. All the lessons have accumulated in you. They have generalized in you to your total embodiment of Christ, Buddha, God. It's huge what you're doing, you guys. It's just huge. It's wonderful. And you have no idea the magnitude of when you're trying to meditate or you're doing a lesson, who it touches, because that's Holy Spirit takes it and helps all universes. It's just so magnificent, you all. So then it clicked that my mind's open, my heart's open, and I look out and nothing needs to be changed now, you guys. Nothing needs to be changed. Nothing needs to be manipulated. And that's why this sky gazing and Dzogchen meditation of letting things come and go, you get in the rhythm of the impermanence of these fleeting objects that live and die, but they're going to come and they're going to go, but yet you don't have attachment or aversion, and you're not judging them. You're judging them less and less as they show up. And you're more aware when you get attached to a thought, and then you realize, oh, I have an expectation, I'm going to let that go. You can still plan, but yet you're open to the flow that things will change, and you're not getting so heartbroken when something doesn't go the way you expected it. You then let go easier again, and you come back to the center, to your alignment of your Christ Buddha self, resting in that light, taking those 3 deep breaths in and exhaling out, that sacred pause, and you go again. And you just, well, anyway, but you'll end up, you walking around, everything's perfect. It's called the natural great perfection. The Garden of Eden is here now. The kingdom of heaven is here now. It's only because we have thoughts of judgment that stops us from seeing the perfection of divine spirit that's here, divine God that's here now, everywhere. We're one with, there's no in or out. It's just, you're walking around and you're it. And everything is it too. Everything else is God too. We're all holy. Now, doesn't mean we can't set boundaries and go visit the psychotherapy doctor if you need to. I still visit my doctor and take my vitamins. But when I'm doing it, I'm practicing advanced forgiveness on all the people that are there. As many of them, I don't do it all the time, as often as I can, and see it builds on itself. It becomes cumulative. I can't stress that enough. You think nothing's happening, but it's accumulating. For you to be here and listening to something like this is very, very wonderful, very wonderful. And you're helping the whole world in this too. But back on cause and effect, it's your intention. That's a good word. It's your intention of how you want to treat your brother and think of him. And we call it faking it while you make it, because I did it too, faking it while I'm making it, to get to this point. Because otherwise, we can't believe it right off the bat. That's why the whole Course in Miracles is 2 inches thick. There's all these lessons. One a day, we're undoing thoughts of separation in our mind. You're retraining your mind. But cause and effect, just if you can think about stop and ask yourself, what am I thinking? What am I saying? and then regroup. If you realize that you're judging something, a politician or somebody, quick as you can, practice advanced forgiveness on them, because you're changing cause, you're changing effect, and what things that could come back to you based on what you're thinking about these people and what you're saying about them, how you're gossiping about them, or whatever the hell we're doing in ego. You develop an awareness of what you're thinking and saying. It's huge. Your awareness becomes not ordinary, same old ego crap that we're gossiping or telling tales or whatever we're doing, but you become once in a while awakened to what I'm thinking and doing, and you're aware more often what you're doing and saying. And then you could choose again, like Jesus says in the Course. And it's just the same repetition in different ways. I'm trying to talk to you in different ways where you will be motivated to practice. Keep practicing. Any thoughts or comments while we're still recording here? You lovely people. Yes, Barbara.
You mentioned that I should ask you this while you're recording it, about relax, let go, release, and surrender. I used that during meditation. And you know, at work this time, I seen the blue, and at one time I did see one star.
Now wait, you're going too fast for me. Say again now. In meditation, you did breathe, relax, and smile.
Yeah, when I push away the clouds.
Yes.
Sometimes that doesn't help, but then I sing the song, relax, let go, release, and surrender. And there's a lullaby like that. And then that one time I've been getting blue skies and black skies, and at one time I got one star.
Yes.
And I think I made it.
Yes. Well, you're having a breakthrough. You're having a breakthrough into the holy universe.
Because I'm focusing the ringing in my ears. Instead of breath, I'm focusing on the ringing of the ears, so I don't have any thoughts, and that seems to help too.
Oh, good. We were talking about that. She was asking about how to focus when she had ringing in her ears, and I said to her, well, focus on the ringing. Follow the ringing, because that's what people do when there's a gong or a drum or anything. They follow the sound to where it ends, and that's called dissolving and connecting. Atta girl, Barbara. Well, see, your mind is opening up, and it will open more and more and more. It will. That's a start. Way to go. Way to go. That means your practice is you're doing really good, deep practice, and you're believing what you're doing. Thank you. Anything else anyone want to say?
Lynn. John Lennon, in a song called "The End," says, "The love you take is equal to the love you make." And if you take that and reverse it, it's about what we're saying. That the love you give is that what is equal to what you receive.
Oh yeah, he just turned it a little different,
right?
Didn't he?
So he put the love you take is equal to the love you make. So if you take it and you say the love you make, and that's the love you get, you're giving out, is equal to the love you receive.
Okay.
So that makes me think of how much importance and how much emphasis you put on it when you say, I give you love, I give you peace of mind, I give you quietness, I give you gentleness. So like you said, not just saying the words, but if you put all of yourself into that and mean it, then you get back that much.
It's true. Way to go. See, Holy Spirit's talking to you about how you can relate with that song. Lynn, that's it. Yes.
It was funny, that just came to me.
That's Holy Spirit.
I've seen it recently. So this kind of made me think of that.
Yeah, well, because I had never thought about it, about the intent of giving. I've never thought about genuineness of this. I just would practice. That's what's huge. What your intention is to actually want to give them peace of mind, quietness, gentleness, love. Thanks, Lynn. Ha, way to go. Anyone else want to comment before we go? Oh, because the bottom line, the whole course is it's either love or the call for love. That's what's so powerful about lesson 108 is if you can offer everyone love, could save you years of work. And that's the other thing that Lama Surya Das would say, and I was irritated by it for a couple of months. He would say, can you love the things you hate? And I would overlook that. I overlooked it, but I was irritated underneath. Until about the third time he said it, I went, can you love the things you hate? And I went, well, no. Then finally I sat with it. I asked, Holy Spirit, help me. And he damn showed me a list of things I hated. And see, all this becomes so knee-jerk and so unconscious, but you can sit with, ask Holy Spirit to show you the things you hate. Because until those are brought to the surface and not denied, you got to break this iceberg, break this judgment of hate, who you're hating. And it's knee-jerk hate stuff. If it's political parties or whatever the heck it is, or plenty of stuff to hate, shootings. We don't condone any of this, but it's how do you look at the spirit behind it, the people behind it. They're calling out for love. But yeah, can you love the things you hate? That to recognize that, and I just would say I love you to those things I hated. And I'm not kidding you, it changed to I loved those things I hated. I'm not kidding. I felt love towards those things and people. But I didn't at that time know to go to lesson 108 to give and to receive are one and true and offer everybody love. Boy, that you could save yourself years of work. Anyway, anything else before we close here today? I thank you all so much. Now, before we go, I want to repeat again. Holy Son of God, Holy God, Barbara, Holy God, Leon, Holy God, Lynn, Holy God, Angela, Holy God, Nance, Holy God, Gonzalo, Holy God, didn't get that out so well. There was two G's there, Gonzalo. Holy God, Gonzalo, Holy God, Elaine, Holy God, Debbie, Holy God, Glenda. Because picture in non-dualism, there's only God. Now, the highest awareness that you can get when you're not in samadhi, when you meditate and you join with God and there's no awareness of anything. Prior to that, the highest awareness is what we're talking about here tonight, that you embody God and you're walking around with an open heart, an open mind, and you're aware of what the heck you are and what all your brothers are. And you're kind, loving, considerate, and compassionate naturally. You're not having to fake it anymore. You encapsulate it. But until then, there's all these steps and processes. We fake it while we make it. So thank you, everybody. I'm going to